Ever pondered on what makes the perfect meatball sandwich? It's not just about slapping some meatballs between two slices of bread. No, my friends. It goes much deeper than that. It's about the perfect blend of flavors, textures, and, of course, a few secret ingredients that will make your taste buds dance with joy. Let's start with the meatballs, the heart of our sandwich. We're using a delicious combination of ground beef and pork to ensure a succulent and flavorful bite. To bind our meatballs, we'll be using panko breadcrumbs soaked in milk for that extra moist texture. The cheese is crucial too, and we're not skimping here. We're using a duo of pecorino romano and mozzarella to create that perfect cheesy melt. And let's not forget about the secret ingredient, a hint of crushed fennel seeds, which will add a touch of sweetness and a little aniseed kick. Stay tuned to discover how these ingredients come together to create the ultimate meatball sandwich. Creating the perfect meatball is an art. It's a delicate balance of flavors, textures, and of course the right technique. We begin with two types of ground meat, beef and pork. This combination lends a perfect balance of richness and flavor to our meatballs. Now, it's time to add our seasonings. Start with a generous amount of pecorino romano cheese, which imparts a delightful tang and a touch of saltiness. Follow that with panko breadcrumbs. These will give our meatballs a light, tender texture. Here's a little secret. Before adding the breadcrumbs to the mix, soak them in milk for about 5 minutes. It's an extra step, but it makes the meatballs incredibly moist and flavorful. Next, we've got an egg beaten to bind everything together, and a duo of garlic and finely chopped onions for a bit of a flavor kick. For the herbs, we're using dried oregano, a classic in meatball recipes. But here's where we add a unique touch, crushed fennel seeds. They're optional, but they give a slight licorice note that pairs wonderfully with the other ingredients. Finally, season with some salt and freshly ground black pepper. Now get your hands in there and mix everything gently until just combined. Remember, overmixing can lead to tough meatballs, and we want ours to be tender and juicy. Once your mixture is ready, form it into 1-inch meatballs. This size ensures that they cook evenly and fit perfectly into our hoagie rolls later on. Heat a large skillet over medium heat with a drizzle of olive oil, then sear the meatballs on all sides until they're golden brown. This step not only gives the meatballs a beautiful color, but also locks in the flavors. After searing, drain off any excess grease. We want our meatballs to be flavorful, not greasy. Now, take a moment to admire your handiwork. These golden brown beauties are the heart of our sandwich. With the meatballs ready, it's time to whip up a flavorful sauce. We'll delve into that in the next scene. For now, let's savor the satisfaction of having crafted some truly exceptional meatballs. A great sandwich needs a great sauce. And for our unforgettable meatball sub, it's all about layering those flavors. Start off by heating a tablespoon of olive oil in the same skillet where you've just browned your meatballs. This will add a beautiful depth to your sauce. Now toss in a diced medium onion and let it soften for about 5 minutes. The aroma of garlic follows next, mingling with the onions for a minute until it's fragrant. Now here's where we add a bit of magic. Pour in a can of crushed tomatoes, a dollop of tomato paste, and a sprinkle each of dried basil and oregano. Then, for that added depth of flavor and a little sophistication, we're going to pour in half a cup of dry red wine. Bring it all to a simmer, stirring occasionally for about 20 minutes until it thickens slightly. This slow simmering process is key to melding all those flavors together. With our succulent meatballs and rich sauce ready, it's time to bring it all together. The final stage, assembling the sandwich, is where the magic truly happens. It's like the grand finale of a fireworks display, the final chord of a symphony, the last piece of a jigsaw puzzle. Here's where we bring together our deliciously seared meatballs, our rich, flavorful sauce, and our fresh, crusty hoagie rolls. The rolls are sliced in half lengthwise, creating a cradle for our meaty stars. The meatballs, now simmering in the sauce, are spooned generously onto the bottom halves of the rolls. Next, a layer of shredded mozzarella is added. This will melt into a gooey, stringy delight under the broiler's heat, enveloping the meatballs in a cheesy hug. After a quick broil, the sandwiches are pulled from the oven. The cheese is bubbling, the bread toasted to perfection. A sprinkle of parmesan and a garnish of fresh basil leaves, if you fancy, complete this masterpiece. And there you have it, the perfect meatball sandwich. It's not just food, it's a culinary adventure.